Danny Jacobs' trainer, Andre Rosier, has called out Billy Joe Saunders on his fighter's behalf. Now, Danny Jacobs has had plenty to say about Billy Joe Saunders himself over the past few months. He's called him out many times, but Saunders hasn't seemed particularly keen on facing Danny Jacobs for the most part. So I'm going to quote Rosier here. He says, "I'm formally calling out BJ Saunders. I want to see BJ Saunders accept this challenge from me to him. When we are in England and he was slated to fight with Avdantil Kurtzadiz, he said that he would run Danny right out the ring. That's a fight everyone would love to see, BJ Saunders and Danny Jacobs. And I would go as far as to say that since he believes he can beat Danny Jacobs, that if we can fight and he does beat Danny, I will give him my portion of the purse. I'm calling Saunders out on my behalf. BJ has been hiding that title for so long now that literally BJ says he's a gypsy. Well, he's wandering around the world with the title and not fighting like a true gypsy. A true gypsy likes to fight, and he says he's a gypsy, but he's not fighting." He goes on to talk about, what's he talking about here? Okay. Golovkin and Canelo, he says, "I believe he is. Basically, he was supposed to fight." Okay, he's talking about Billy Joe Saunders again, he was waiting for Golovkin against Golovkin or Alvarez. He said, "I would believe this. Basically, he was supposed to fight Martin Murray. He said he had an injury, but we all know he was waiting for a deal to fight Triple G, but Triple G stiffed him for Canelo, and Martin Murray fought, so he has no one in the foreseeable landscape to get busy with, but he can get busy with Danny Jacobs. Where the hell is BJ Saunders? We want him." So there you go. That is Danny Jacobs' trainer calling out Billy Joe Saunders, making it very, very clear that they want that fight to happen. Will Billy Joe Saunders take it? Will Billy Joe Saunders respond? Is it a case that Billy Joe Saunders knows the kind of styles that he will look good against and avoids the kind of styles that he thinks he won't look good against? Maybe it's just a typical risk-reward situation. If there was enough money in the Danny Jacobs fight, he would take it. But then again, Danny Jacobs surely is the third biggest moneymaker in the middleweight division right now, behind Canelo and Golovkin. So, isn't there enough money in this fight to entice Billy Joe Saunders? You guys tell me. And how do you think this fight would go? I know a lot of the Saunders fans believe he's going to school Danny Jacobs. A lot of the Saunders fans are gassed after the David Lemieux fight. But the David Lemieux fight really flattered Billy Joe Saunders, because David Lemieux is so slow-footed. He's so poor technically. His back. I mean, let me not say David Lemieux is that slow-footed. He's not that slow-footed. It's more his footwork is really poor, and his balance is really poor. He's a guy who can hit very hard if you stand still, but once he has to start moving his feet, his balance is all over the place. And obviously Billy Joe ran rings around him. It will be a completely different fight if he fights Danny Jacobs. Danny Jacobs is much taller than David Lemieux. He's much more skilled. He's got much faster hands and faster feet. Longer reach. Totally different kind of fight. And other than the David Lemieux fight, which fight did Billy Joe Saunders look totally dominant in? He didn't look totally dominant against Andy Lee. That was a nip and tuck fight most of the way through. Yeah, he won it. Don't get it twisted. I'm not disputing the fact that he won, but it was a nip and tuck fight. That was a competitive fight. He certainly didn't school Andy Lee the way that he did David Lemieux. And you look at Billy Joe's fights against, again, Chris Eubank Jr. That was a close fight going down the stretch. He only won that, 3-4 rounds at most. Probably closer than that. A lot of people thought that fight could have gone either way. So this is not a guy who normally schools people, Billy Joe Saunders. And I know they say he's in much better shape now with Dominic Ingle and whatnot. And he does look to be in better shape, and he does look to have addressed his stamina issues. But I just still feel as though the David Lemieux fight flattered Billy Joe a little bit. and made him look like more of a master boxer than he actually is. Don't get it confused. Billy Joe is an excellent boxer. He's very slick. He's the slickest guy at 160 pounds right now. He's very, very slick. But he's not the biggest middleweight you've ever seen. He don't have the greatest punching power. And a lot of these big middleweights will be able to get to him, I believe. They will be able to hit him and do damage and make life very, very difficult for him. And I think Danny Jacobs is definitely one of those guys. People thinking that Billy Joe's going to school Danny Jacobs and it's going to be an easy night's work. I think you're in for a rude awakening if that fight ever takes place. And if it was such an easy fight, then Billy Joe would take it, right? Because he ain't getting Canelo or Golovkin anytime soon because they're fighting each other. So take on Danny Jacobs if it's so easy. See, this is one of the things about a lot of fans is they will talk down fights between certain opponents and the fighter they support. And they'll say, oh, he's got no chance against the fighter I support. He's got no chance at all. He's garbage. He gets schooled or he get knocked out. They've got all this confidence in their fighter, but their fighter doesn't share the same level of confidence because their fighter doesn't go ahead and take on these people who are apparently so many levels below them. So we'll see whether Billy Joe Saunders actually believes he's so much better than Danny Jacobs, like a lot of his supporters do. Again, I wouldn't be shocked if Billy Joe Saunders beat Danny Jacobs at all. I think it's a competitive fight. But I would be shocked if Billy Joe Saunders beat Danny Jacobs easily in a similar fashion to the way he did Lemieux. Then I would be shocked. I think it will be a very competitive fight and a very, very tough fight for Billy Joe Saunders. So anyway, let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Will Billy Joe fight Danny Jacobs? Is that on the cards at all? Will there be any issue doing a deal? Because Billy Joe is obviously with Frank Warren and Danny Jacobs is with Eddie Hearn. Let me know what you think, people. It's happening. I'm out.